the biggest test of the year for this Toronto Blue Jays squad, and they wind up passing with flying colors. That Phillies Blue Jays series, the Phillies, one of the best teams in the National League, a stacked squad, an offensive juggernaut, an incredible pitching staff, and the Blue Jays take two of three. Not only do they take two of three, buddy, they do so after getting their asses absolutely handed to them on Friday. So, you know what, man? I'm
It
in.
was a it was a real smelling salt moment,
Yes.
after sweeping the A's, feeling good about ourselves, and then getting slapped in the mouth a little bit and
Hmm.
being like, "Oh, we're playing a real team, buckle up." And then, yeah, to
The
to
boys
dig in
showed
and turn
up.
things around, it was
Absolutely.
a real testament.
This is the walk off. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I'm Scott Belford, joined as always by the best co host in the biz, Adam Mack. We are going to talk this Phillies Blue Jays series. We're going to break down three studs and a dud. Adam has the top three Blue Jays of the week, as well as the dud. And then we're going to go over the yearly total scores. We're talking the biggest strength on this team right now, which shockingly enough is the catching position. Alejandro Kirk becoming a top five catcher in this league. A no doubt kind of thing with him this 2025 season. And then, shockingly enough, 34-year-old season journeyman, minor league contract aficionado. Like, this is a dude who's never been handed a contract. Anytime he's played in the bigs, it's been on a minor league contract where he gets called up. Tyler Heineman has been absolutely incredible as the backup catcher for this team. I know it's only over 55 plate appearances, but we are now sitting here June 5th, and the man is hitting over 400, and he's been coming up huge with runners in scoring position. Just such a breath of fresh air to see this kind of performance out of a guy who really 1 year ago was a complete and total afterthought. We'll dive into that. We're going to talk the rebound that they had against the Phillies and the fact that we're actually starting to see a little grit out of this team. We're going to math the schedule out and see where it takes us leading into the trade deadline because as I looked at the schedule, found some very interesting things about how this all lines up as we approach the All-Star break and the trade deadline. Starting pitching, I mean, if there is a pretty major red flag and weak spot on this team, it is the pitching and the Rubik's Cube that it's going to take to get to the reinforcements, which is, of course, Alek Manoah and Max Scherzer coming back, Adam Macko getting healthy. The list goes on of guys they're kind of waiting on. Spencer Turnbull, the deadline, right? The trade deadline. Do they bolster then? And then we're also going to dive into this upcoming Twins and Jays series. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder, everybody. Baseball Town is next Thursday, June 12th, 7 p.m. at the Comedy Bar. The panel is stacked. We have Daniele Franceschi from Sportsnet The Fan 590. We've got Shoa Lee returning, which is very exciting. Shoa Lee, a friend of the show, of course, host of Jays Talk and Sportsnet producer. And then we have from Blue Jays Today, Adam Peddle rounding things out. It should be a very good show. I do have a discount code for you. Comedy Bar gave me a 20% discount code. So when you go to the comedybar.ca to get your tickets for Baseball Town, we'll also have the link in the description, obviously. Uh, Baseball is your coupon code. Baseball. Hopefully you can all remember that, right? I tried to make it as easy as possible when they reached out and were like, "Hey, can if we give you a 20% discount code, would it get used?" And I was like, hell yeah. So
Nice. Nice.
all right, moving on and getting into this show here, the Friday show, the Blue Jays taking two of three against Philadelphia. What did you take from this series, Adam? Again, I know we touched on it off the top of being handed um, their butt on a platter basically on Tuesday, getting completely blown out, and just the rebound that they wound up getting. But more than that, How much do you take out of this series? Because I know when we were talking on Tuesday, you kind of downplayed this and you said, I know everyone's saying this is a big test, but the truth is it's still a series in June and we're not going to win it or lose it on this one series. So after watching it and them coming out on top, has your opinion changed at all?
Yeah, of course. You talk yourself out of the pressure of the big test just so you can
Breathe
relax and
easy, yes.
succeed. But it's still, a final exam worth 70% of your mark. You tell yourself, it's just another test, Adam. It's just another test. Relax. Knowing full well your whole degree hangs on this test. Is it quite there? No, but it's pretty close. No, it's good. It's big takeaways. I think we were talking on the preamble a bit about the resiliency
Hmm.
of this team. A couple opportunities to fold and go. Like I'm thinking back to the George Springer bouncing
Yes.
on third.
Hmm.
Or was that against the A's? Was that the
It
last
was
game in the
against
A's
the A's. It
series?
was the last game against the A's,
Yeah.
but still a fairly major mental lapse that
It no, just like if we're looking specifically at the Phillies, then sorry, that was a little bit of a preview to the three studs and a dud this week when I was
mm,
looking at this week's events. Um, but yeah, coming back after it was Bowden Francis
yeah,
that
completely
really
imploded.
imploded.
Didn't get through the first inning of that game one.
Working on a yes hitter, if you will.
Yeah.
Was that you that sent
That
me
was me
that?
that sent the meme,
Oh, it
yeah.
was so funny. Who was the pitcher in that?
Oh, I forget who it was now, but there was a guy who just got completely blown up, allowed 8 runs in one inning and got 0 outs.
Amazing.
And
I'm looking it up
they,
right now, but yeah,
yeah.
you keep explaining it.
Yeah, but it is kind of funny because the meme was forget about a no hitter. This was a yes hitter. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Brandon Fat of the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, Brandon Fad. That's right.
So there you go. Hilarious. I told everyone on my ball team, we all LOL'd. It was great. So thank you for sharing that with me.
One of
Um,
my one of the teams in my fantasy league is actually called Fat Bottom Girls, and that's
hey,
clever, right? I like it.
nice.
Yeah, that's right. Punny.
Nice.
So three
Very
studs
good.
and a dud. This is something
Okay.
that you have kind of taken the lead on this year and have curated the list. And we've been keeping track of the score throughout the season so we can actually proclaim a end of the year 2025 stud.
Yeah, and I think for the fun of it, at the All-Star break, I'll do a tally. I'll do an updated running tally of studs and duds here. Um, Stud number 3 this week, Alejandro Kirk,
Yes.
believe it or not.
And
Um,
I think if you're just picking a stud for the month,
might be,
Alejandro Kirk is up there. Yeah.
might be. Last 30 days, Alejandro Kirk, 888 OPS, a 362 batting average.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been rock solid. Rock solid.
Defensively, he is
Throwing
defense never
guys out
sleeps.
this
Yeah,
year.
defense never sleeps, and he's been one of the best defensive catchers in the league. And this offensive output has been just icing on the cake.
I think it's defense doesn't slump is the term.
Yes. Okay, I think you're right.
When you say defense never sleeps, it sounds like
They're high on something.
I was gonna say it sounds like the name of a new James Bond movie.
Right.
So tomorrow never dies, defense
Yes.
never sleeps.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, whatever. Stud number 3, Alejandro Kirk. His numbers were really good this week. Not the best, not top 3 offensive guy on our team. A 929 OPS though.
That'll
And
do.
that timely walk-off hit in that 2-1 game against the Phillies. So I've said all year, 3 studs and a dud is a bit of a vibe.
Hmm.
And, innings matter a lot to me when evaluating the quality of a pitcher, right? If a guy goes 5 shutout innings and another guy goes 7 and gives up 2, I probably would rather have the guy that goes 7 and gives up 2, but gives the bullpen a bit of a breather. So this is just kind of a good example of that, where sure, if you just look at the numbers, there are guys who put up better numbers. Hey, Ernie Clement, heck of a week. 21 at bats, so played a full week at third base. Did get a home run, a 476 batting average, and an OPS of 131.
Jeez.
That's great. That's awesome. Why is Kirk a stud and Alejandro and Ernie Clement is not? It's just, you know what? That timely clutch hitting of driving in a walk-off hit. That's worth a lot in my book. So that was the tiebreaker in that regard.
Does Ernie get an honorable?
Ernie doesn't get an honorable. This was a fun week to do.
Yeah, that's right. Those were
There's
some
been
crazy
some rough
numbers.
weeks.
Yeah.
There's been some rough weeks, Scott. So yeah, spoiler alert, Ernie Clement with his 476 batting average and OPS over 1,000. Not a stud this week. Stud number 2, Bo Bichette. A 914 OPS, 296 batting average, and 2 dingers.
He's feeling it, man.
He's feeling
Always feeling it.
He's got 8, I think, on the season now. So he's
tied with the lead again.
Tied with Vlad, Springer, and Varsho for the lead on this team, which is awesome because I think in the last 30 days he's first. So 7 of his 8 home runs have come in the last 30 days.
And you all remember too, he didn't get that first home run until the end of April.
Right, exactly. So he's come alive, which is good. Anyways, 2 home runs and a 300 batting average. 2 home runs a week, that's a 54 home run pace for the year. So I'll accept that. Anytime a guy hits 300 for a batting average and a 54 home run pace, that's going to stand out to me. By the way, home run leaders last 30 days, Bo Bichette with 7, Dalton Varsho with 6, Vladdy only has 4, Addison Barger, second with 6.
Wow.
So Addison Barger has been great as of late. He is your stud number 1 this week. I'm going to give you some impressive numbers from Addison Barger, but then keep in mind it's been good all year long.
Have you seen his nickname? Chris Black has been calling him, of course, for everyone.
Sorry, wait. Before you say his real nickname, the way you phrased that made me think Chris Black was his nickname. Have you seen his new nickname? Chris Black.
Yeah, hilarious.
Sorry, okay.
Yes.
This is why people hate me and love you, Scott, is that
you've got not
Devin
true.
I have a text message. I didn't send it to you. So I sent you the screenshot of me getting roasted for not picking up on Devin as a place on earth. Below that in the chat was Scott is greater than Adam, but it was the greater than math sign. I clipped that out. I didn't send that to you, so I'm telling you now.
I'm going to tell you too. I get constantly told that you are the favorite. So I don't know. I don't.
I'm just fishing for compliments now. Let's get back to Paul.
Okay.
All right. What's the nickname? What's the nickname for Addison
Chris Black,
Barger?
Down to Black on Twitter. If you do not follow him, you really should check it out. Some of the best threads around, and a stat nerd. But he calls him Bam Bam Barger, and I like it.
Nice. I like it.
Way too much hype for that nickname at the end. I should have just said it and forget it.
You know what? I had a nickname suggested for Nathan Lucas. It was an ironic nickname, I believe, for my buddy Gage. Suggests Nathan Nukes.
I like it.
You know,
but it would be
doesn't hit a lot of nukes.
To properly say it, it would be
Nukas.
Nathan. Nathan Nukas.
Which is funny because that's how I read it when he sent it to me. Was Nathan Nukas. And it didn't click right away. Anyways, Addison Barger this week, 300 batting average, 1.264 OPS, 4 home runs this week.
Unreal.
And 8 RBIs. So he had himself a week. He feasted. I was really pleased to see because it felt like he had an awesome week, and I really wanted him to be a stud. But then sometimes you look back at the stats and you go, "Oh, but
Hmm.
this was on the half end of the previous week, and then this was on the whatever, and the rest of the week kind of sucks." So it's like he had 7 great days, but it was like 3, and then it wrapped over to 4. So none of it really stands out, but it wasn't the case. The last 7 days for him was awesome. So he's your star number
The
one.
other thing I will point out about Addison Barger is that his biggest concern was his glove at the hot corner. So going back the last few years, Addison Barger was a natural shortstop. That's where he was getting the majority of his playing time coming up through the minor leagues. And then he started to get moved into the outfield because of that monster arm of his. And because there is somebody blocking him at shortstop, even more so now that they've gone out and got Andre Jimenez. And then on top of that, Arjun Namala, their top prospect, is slotted as a shortstop. So they moved him to the hot corner because that was where they needed a guy. And you know what? He has performed so admirably.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say that he has been a stud defensively, but he has made all of the plays he's had to make, and you know what? Showing off that arm, which is definitely above average.
Yeah, it's very good arm strength. So there you go. There's your 3 studs. Honorable mention, not Ernie Clement. Very well could have been. Um, honorable mention, Eric Lauer in the
You know
bullpen.
what? Well deserved honorable mention from him. I mean, in a
He
time when the starting pitching is reeling, he stepped up big.
he came in relief of that Bowden Francis yes hitter. He threw 4 innings, 0 earned runs. That's his whole stat line for the week. Whoop-de-doo. It was what did it end up being? An 8-4 blowout loss.
Yeah.
In a way, and this might be giving him too much credit, but these are the intangibles of baseball. Him going 4 innings and saving the bullpen
Yeah.
from being
I
an
might be why
absolute
they won this
overworked
series.
dumps. It might be why we went out and won the next 2 games. I know
Mhm.
one of them was a 9-1, you know, blowout or what. Like it's easy to say, "Well, we didn't exactly need our," but
You sure felt like you did on that game three, though.
yeah. So Eric Lauer, he's been doing it kind of all season long since
Hmm.
we've signed him at the end of April. Innings pitched 4, 1/3, 4.5, 3, 4 1/3, 3 1/3. But he's coming in. He's got 2 starts. Otherwise, he's pitched innings 2 through 5, 3 through 7, 3 through 6. Like he's constantly coming
Yeah.
in mop up situations. So now you could say, okay, it's low leverage, and yeah, it is. If he comes in and it's 6-0 in the first inning, sure. But that's valuable stuff, man. It's
Absolutely.
so much
Absolutely.
better than throwing out 8, like your entire bullpen for 1 inning each.
It's
So
such a good point, Adam, because people forget sometimes what a grind 162 is, and you need guys like that. The point you made about the bullpen and saving those arms for when they needed it the most,
yeah,
right? I mean, to make up 8 innings, that's what hurts. Like Bowden
yeah.
Francis not even getting out of the first, that can drain a
It could have
club's.
it could have been a sweep. It could have easily been a, hey, we got 6 strong out of Barrios, but everybody's a little bit more burnt out, or
Mhm.
like yeah. So it's just I might be overstating this. So he's not a stud, but I did want to give some love to
Yeah.
Eric Lauer, especially because it's not the first time he's done it. So there is a little bit of a
Track record building.
cumulative award here. It's a
Mhm.
lifetime achievement award equivalent of, hey, for the last month, man, you've been filling up on mop duty, and it's appreciated. So, which now leads into our duds of the week.
Bowden
Tough
Francis.
to avoid Bowden Francis as your
Yeah.
dud this week. Um, by a mile, it wasn't close.
The Jays have had a very good week. This was really the one admiration, so.
Yeah. So there you go. That's your dud. Dishonorable mention goes to George Springer, and that's just for the jump tag at third. I mean, whatever. It's a brain fart.
Yeah.
He's a veteran guy, but I still Can't wrap my mind around it.
Someone needed the dishonorable mention.
Yeah. So there you go. Um, Shout out. So maybe I got to start awarding points for shout outs. Three studs, honorable mention, shout out.
Sure.
Doesn't get points, but shout out to David Schneider,
Yeah.
friend of the show. Is back with the big club, played 3 games this week, so limited sample size. Did hit a home run, though, which is nice to see. So a 444 batting average and an OPS that led the entire Jays of 1323 this week. So some love for Davis.
Yes.
Welcome back. Always wish him the best. It's
And
good.
you know what? If they can limit Davis's playing time and he comes up big when they do use him, my goodness, there's a spot on the bench for that man.
Totally.
Okay. Do we want to do the full totals for the year, or is that going to take up too much time here? We can kind of do that another time if you'd prefer, if I'm putting you on the spot
I
here.
started by saying I would do it for the All-Star break.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay.
Come on, man.
Yes, I got to
Don't throw me right under the bus.
No, no,
I'm
no.
not prepared.
Yes, no, it is good that you threw this right back in my face. Well deserved. This is what I get for not listening. My wife would be thrilled right now, actually, by the way. Serves me right. All right, moving on here to catching. I just want to talk about the biggest strength on this team currently, and it is the catching position. And Adam, who saw this coming? Right? Like had I told you this at the beginning of the year, you would have said what? That Tyler Heineman and Alejandro Kirk were maybe the best tandem in the American League. What would you say? You would have like I
I don't
can't.
know. I like what Blair had to say on Blair and Barker yesterday when talking about that. He said the best catching duo was Cal and Raleigh,
Yeah,
which got a good laugh out of my dad.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is Tyler Heineman the long-term answer? Probably not at backup catcher,
hmm
but he's having himself like as good a year as you could hope for. Like he is the quintessential perfect backup catcher.
And you know what? Huge props to Alejandro Kirk for stepping up like he has within an increased workload, which has substantially
Totally.
increased, by the way.
Big time.
Like
Yeah.
this isn't just a few extra games. He is literally going to catch 120 to 130 games this year, which is just mind blowing. And you know what? I saw a video of him from 2022, and I will say, man, he has done a lot of work on his body. And I know there's still a lot of Blue Jays fans out there that can't wait to call him a fatty and all that stuff, right? But honestly, dude, he looks great this year and has definitely slimmed down compared to a few years ago. He's looking after his body more, and we're seeing the results of that. So this is from Chris Black. Since July 27th, 2024, the day the Jays unequivocally made Alejandro Kirk their everyday catcher. That was the day they traded Jano. Here are the top primary catchers in Major League Baseball F4. Cal Raleigh 6.3, and then he's just got in brackets LOL. Cal Raleigh is so far ahead of everyone else, and he might be the first catcher in frick. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like 15 years to hit over 40 home runs. Like he's on pace for 44 right now. So we'd need
What
to.
did Sal Perez hit the other year?
I think it was, yeah, you're right. Boom, you found it. That was 2022. Sal Perez hit 48. But I think that might be the last one. Anyways, we can dive into that in a second. Cal Raleigh 6.3 F4. William Contreras is at 3.7 with the Cardinals, and then Alejandro Kirk with a 3.6. And
Wow.
second on the Blue Jays in that time, behind only Vladdy Guerrero.
Yeah, Kirk's been great.
He's been incredible. Do you want to pull
Do
up
you-
Tyler Heineman's stats when you?
Yeah.
No rush.
While I'm pulling that up, I just want to ask you, do you think so? We've had questions on Dalton Varsho recently.
hmm
Do we think, I mean, obviously he's injured currently, knock on wood, he bounces back and is healthy eventually. But the question of Varsho when he was healthy and banging was, is this the real, like, is this a mirage or is this a sustainable Dalton Varsho? Is this a new approach? Has he found it? Is it is what it is? So I want to ask you that question about Alejandro Kirk while I'm getting these Tyler Heineman stats up. Um, is this the Kirk that we can expect for the length of his contract, or is
I think
this
it's I think it's pretty close.
okay?
Obviously Alejandro is going to have some ups and downs at the plate, just like every player is, and I don't think we're going to see much more power out of him than we're seeing. But you know what? I think 10 dingers a year is not unreasonable to think he's going to get, and it's not all about home runs. But I mean, he's been putting up an OPS well over 800 for most of the season. So you
Yeah.
know what? He has done everything we need behind the plate. The starting pitching absolutely loves him. He's 26 years old and has 5 years of major league experience. I mean, his body should hold up the length of this contract, knock on wood, fingers crossed, but it does bring him to 31 years old. And it's looking more and more like he may have been the right choice to keep. With all due respect to Gabriel Moreno, by the way, because Gabriel Moreno F4 is a little higher than Alejandro Kirk on the year, and he basically does everything Kirky does well. And he has a body baseball people love more. Like, as funny as that is to say, it is the truth. But you know what? Kirk has been. I'm gonna eat this one. I thought
Right.
Jano was the guy to keep. And you know what? I know plenty of our Patreon members, Johnny Eaton leading the charge, was always like the best tool is being able to stay on the field, which is something Jano was never really able to give us. And Kirk is been an Iron Man so far. So yeah, I think as long as he can stay healthy, Alejandro Kirk, this is what we're seeing right now is pretty close to what we should see.
The term is the best ability is availability.
The rhyme that
Not the
I
best tool is being able to be on the field. Come on, Scott.
I have really, my sayings have been way off here.
You've been butchering them today. I do have these Tyler Heineman stats pulled up. What do you want to know? Do you want to know about his
Lay it
uh
out. Lay out his whole season to date. Our
do you want
400 hitter.
yeah, do you want to know about his 404 batting average or do you want to know about his 172 OPS plus?
Jeez.
Um it's been great. I mean, if there is two complaints that I have looking at his numbers. So, okay, limited appearances, right? Part-time backup catcher. It is what it is. You can't hold that against him. Um, 55 plate appearances for him
hmm
versus Alejandro Kirk, I think has 190.
hmm
195 plate appearances for Alejandro Kirk. So that gives you perspective on the frequency at which these two guys play. 404 batting average, slugging 558, OPS 976. These are elite numbers, obviously. Um, one home run
hmm
could be better.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, whatever, like it's fine. But again, if we're nitpicking here, the other nitpick is strikeout to walk ratio. He's got 10 Ks this year versus 2 walks. So you'd like to see that closer to 50-50, even 2-1. 5-1 is a bit steep, but with a batting average of 404, can we really complain that this guy's striking out too much? You know
He
what I mean?
has given us everything we could possibly want and a million times more, if the truth
So,
be told. And you know what? One aspect of his game that doesn't probably get brought up very much is the fact the guy can run. And that's not very common with catchers. And we've seen the Blue Jays take advantage of this in numerous situations, especially being that our number one catcher's biggest flaw is his speed as he clogs up the base paths. And so late in the game, it has been such a godsend, truly, to be able to watch Kirky hit a double and then bring Heineman in to run. Hit a single, get Heineman on first, get him moving. And this is an option that they didn't really have before. Not that Jano couldn't run or stuff like that, but
yeah.
they were both playing so equally that when you gave the guy the day off, it was far more likely that he needed the day off for the rest of the time, right? Like to give him proper rest. So yeah, Tyler Heineman, just what a revelation. I know I got a message today on Instagram, on the walk-off Instagram, and the question was, how much more do you need to see out of Heineman to give him an extension? And my response was, you don't need to give him an extension. This is a guy
Nobody else
who's
wants him.
this is a guy who's only been given minor league contracts and needed to work his way up to the big leagues or depend on injuries to get there. And I think he is proving that in limited playing time, he can be everything you need. So, you know how you get Tyler Heineman back? You give him a guaranteed major league contract for $1 million. Boom, there's your
Yeah.
backup catcher.
Yeah, this is a
He is
guy who
34, by the way.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's 33, but yeah, you're right.
Oh, sorry.
His birthday's June 19th, so 2 weeks he'll be 34. So you're absolutely right. He's 34 years old. Um, he has, oof, guess how many career games he has in Major League Baseball? Hint, it's lower than I would have guessed.
Is it over or under 100?
Over,
Over under 200.
under.
Okay.
Well, now
See,
you're at,
I know. Does
come
he
on,
even
pick
does
a
he have
number.
Okay, I'm gonna guess a full season, 162.
He does not have a full season, is the shocking thing.
Wow.
131 career games.
Yeah.
So I don't
Impressive.
know.
Impressive what
It,
he's doing. Again, as a veteran guy who has never shown this before. And this is
yeah.
why he doesn't have a full season under his belt and has been a 14-year minor league player.
Yeah, so you don't need to run out and extend him. I don't
Yeah.
think, no matter what his numbers are, I don't think anybody in the league is going to be champing at the bit to steal him from us. I mean, whatever. We might have to give him, like you said,
You
one
might
and
need
a
to give him a
half, 2 million
guaranteed
instead of
you might need to
a
give him a
thing, but
guaranteed major league contract would
sure.
be the first one he's ever received, but I'd be fine
Um,
with that.
so Alejandro Kirk this year, OPS plus 110. Danny Jansen with the Rays, OPS plus 79.
Mhm.
The batting average is killing Danny. He's hitting under 200, whereas Alejandro Kirk hitting 305 on the season. But Danny Jansen has 4 home runs,
Mhm.
so still has that power in the bat. Um, Gabriel Moreno, if we're looking at other catchers, OPS plus 111. So he's been good. He's been getting better as of late.
Mhm.
And then I want to end on this, which made me really laugh. Remember Reese McGuire?
Yes, of course. How do you forget?
Um, so he's with the Cubs now. Did you hear what he did this week?
Oh God. Let it be baseball related.
I'm gonna mispronounce this name here, but he chose to wear number 20. So Reese McGuire. Let me get his numbers
Oh
here.
yeah, Master Burboni or whatever was the last guy to wear it.
Yeah, so he's never worn 20 in his career before. He wore 70, 10, and 7 with the Jays, 21 with the White Sox, 3 with the Red Sox, and now 20 with the Cubs. The last player to wear 20 with the Cubs was last name Masterboni.
There you go.
I just like that he's leaning into it.
Sometimes baseball stats, and I guess it's not really a stat, but I guess it is kind of a stat. Either
Number of
way,
parking lots jerked off in. Yeah,
yeah, that's
one.
right.
Over under,
Over under
take
one.
the over.
All right, let's move on to the fact that this team showed a little bit of grit. We don't need to spend too much time on it as we have touched on it already. However, I will say this. You go back in the season 3 weeks, and if the Jays were down, we all got a lump in our throat because
Truly.
they just hadn't shown yet that they could come back from a deficit, and they have shown that. If the Blue Jays a month and a half ago fell on their face against a good team, the series was done. They were
Mhm.
going to lose that series. And you know what? For the first time, they're starting to show a little bit of intestinal fortitude. They're starting to show that when they're down, they're not out. And that is huge if you want to actually be a contending team. They're currently tied for the third wild card spot with the Tampa Bay Rays. They have gone 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're on a bit of a run right now. And this leads into the schedule and the deadline acquisitions perfectly. I've got the schedule up right now. So, June is a tough schedule. It's not
Yeah.
tougher than April, but it still has some very formidable above 500 opponents, starting with the Minnesota Twins this Friday, today in Minnesota. They're at Target Field. Then they go to St. Louis to play the Cardinals, both teams above 500. Then they go to Philly, Citizens Bank Park, where they haven't played well the last few years. So the next 9 games are a grind, and you know what? We can go further in than that. You can even say the next 12 games are a grind because they are playing Arizona after that, who is below 500 but barely. And you know what? They're in the toughest division in baseball, so you maybe need to give them a little bit of leeway there. Then they go into a series June 20th against the White Sox, then the Guardians, the Red Sox, the Yankees. So let's start with this. That takes you to July 3rd. That's 25 games remaining before July 3rd. If they can go 13 and 12, slightly above 500, that puts them 5 games above 500 at that point. Then this is the schedule leading into the All-Star game. You've got 3 against the Angels, 3 against the White Sox, 3 against the Athletics. This sets them up. Let's say they can go 7 and 2 against those bottom feeding teams. That means at the All-Star break, the Blue Jays are 10 games over 500. This is not that crazy of a scenario, by the way. This is going 13 and 12 until you hit the soft part of the schedule.
Yeah.
If they're 10 games over at the All-Star break, this team's going for it. This team is absolutely buyers at the deadline, and they may even be in competition for the division. And I know you're smiling like I'm being completely insane right now, but
No,
I
I'm smiling because I'm thinking, yeah, if they're 10 games over, they're buyers. Like, yeah, that's the most captain obvious thing you've
yeah,
said in the podcast. I think. Okay, competing for the division is
possible.
you're out to lunch. You're out to lunch, Scott.
I don't think I am. They're 5.5 back of the Yankees right now. Leading into that 9-game soft spot is a 4-game series against the Yankees. I don't think they're out of this division yet.
How all in do you think the Jays should be?
I think they should be all in, but I also don't think that they should move Arjun Namala, and it better be it better be an insane get if you're moving Trey Savage. So our top 2 prospects, I would say, should be off the table unless there is
Is
a
Addison
Raffy
Barger
Devers.
no longer a prospect?
I think Addison Barger could be moved again only if it makes this team far better. And I think you would need somebody. You'd need a cornerstone of the franchise to move Barger and Yasavich in a big package like that, right? So
So
again, like a Raffy Devers or something like that.
so I'm with you. Like I think what we've seen out of the Jays the last month has been enough to make me believe come trade deadline time, probably gonna be buyers. Like we'd need some bad tacos
Hmm.
to really have the wheels fall off to make us think, yeah, fuck, the season's a write-off. That's not happening. But we need another power bat in the middle of the lineup. We need bullpen help. You need a starting pitcher. That's kind
Hmm.
of what everybody needs, though.
Yep.
So when I say how all in should the Jays go, like, are you okay if the Jays are 10 games over 500? And then they go, well, we did another Adam Simber, Trevor Richards, you know, bullpen. Hey, we laugh. I mean,
Yeah.
but at the time, like it was those unsexy bullpen names that, fresh look sidearm Simber in the AL East was phenomenal.
Hmm.
that first year we had him, right? Like, but is that enough? Or are you happy with that? Are you happy to be like, okay, we stayed the course, we improved a little bit, didn't do anything too crazy, but are you good with that?
Honestly, Adam, I want them to do enough to get to the division series bare minimum. So if the little tweaks around the edges just ensures that they get into a wild card spot and lose against the freaking Guardians or the Twins again, that's not success to me, man. Like the goalpost keeps getting moved with this franchise, and I still truly believe what their goal should be is the World Series, right? And I know the talk is all, of course, they're saying that. But I need to see, show me you're going for it.
What? Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I threw out the Sandy Alcantara
Hmm.
as an acquisition at the trade deadline. This season probably
Yeah,
doesn't help the Jays though,
yeah.
right? Like it is still like a move for the future, and I still think he's gonna bounce back. He's gonna be fine once he's like fully recovered and everything. I think he'll be an elite pitcher again. I think there's real rewards to be reaped next year and the 2 other years that you'd have him under control beyond that.
Hmm.
I think we should still go for Alcantara. It doesn't help us win this year.
Hmm.
But I'm going to say this, and you're going to think, oh, Adam's just being a shithead. I genuinely, to my core, believe we should sign for league minimum Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, it'll never happen though.
Why not? You think he's just done?
Because
You think he's
Rob Man,
totally blackballed?
yes,
Ah,
there's no way Rob Manfred will never let this happen. It would have already gone down, dude, if it was going to happen. And every year he gets older and more irrelevant. I truly believe there is not an organization in baseball that would touch him after he did all the sticky stuff videos and humiliated Rob Manfred. And I'm not saying that it's right that he's blackballed for this. And I know everyone, there's lots of people out there that are like, well, it's the sexual allegations. It's like, yeah, at what point in
he's
baseball?
vindicated in that. He was the victim of
Irrelevant. I'm
those.
just
Oh,
saying it doesn't even matter with baseball. When has Major League Baseball ever punished
true.
someone long term for that? They haven't. They're incredibly lax on that when it comes to sexual violence, especially if the guy's a good player. This isn't about that. This
That's
is about
true.
Rob Manfred is mad and has been embarrassed, and he's the guy that has decided it's over. I mean, and I don't think that Rogers Communications would allow it too. It's too
Because
messy.
of
It's too messy.
but this is where they need to just fucking jettison the cares of being messy. And
And apologies. I just feel like this is an irrelevant conversation because there's no possible way of it happening. It's like saying, can we go out, get a time machine, go back to when Fergie Jenkins was incredible, bring him back to now,
it's
and sign
not
him for the
that
league minimum?
irrelevant
It's
though.
it's
No, it's not.
there's
Look,
no way it can happen. There's no way.
Bauer wants back.
Of course he does.
He's willing to pay for the league minimum.
No one will touch him.
What I'm saying is we should touch him.
And I'm saying it can't and won't happen.
I get it. He's old. He's younger than like every pitcher in our rotation.
He's 34.
Is he 34? I thought he was 32. He's 34. You're right. Chris Bassett, 36. Gossman, also older. He's younger than Barrios. I think he's the same age as our rookie Bowden Francis. Um, I'm exaggerating there. Point being, he also hasn't put a huge workload on. Maybe he's fresh. I don't know. He was
And
the
also,
best pitcher in baseball like 2.5 years ago.
I don't
Is he a
know, man.
cancer in the clubhouse? Maybe. Like, is he the best teammate? Probably not. But he's not a sex criminal. He's been vindicated in that. I
Well,
agree. He's blackballed for the sticky stuff. But oh my God, there's a big spider. Hold on.
it is just Trevor Bauer.
Oh, fuck. I lost it, Scott.
Well, it lives to
The
another
worst
day.
part when you go to kill a spider and you don't kill it is you've broken the truce, right? He knows that now it's him or me.
Hmm.
We're not
Hmm.
here to just let each other coexist.
So this Trevor Bauer talk does lead into the pitching Rubik's Cube that is the Toronto Blue Jays right now as they sit there and have a huge question mark on Bowden Francis, their number four pitcher in the lineup. Uh, Stud honorable mention Eric Lauer is kind of holding up that fifth spot. There's a lot that could go wrong in the next 4 weeks. Now, you kind of need to get to July before Alek Manoah is ready to at least pitch. These are the options, Adam. Like you can roll your eyes all you want. This is the Blue Jays are in deep when it comes to their lack of depth in starting pitching, and you're hoping for Adam Macko who hasn't pitched all year at AAA yet to kind of get his feet under him as he's coming back from injury. You're hoping that Spencer Turnbull all of a sudden shows up. We've been waiting on him forever. I like they're in rough right now, and I do believe they need a starting pitcher.
As long as Rogers isn't willing to get messy and have a uncomfortable talk with the public about Trevor Bauer, they're not serious about winning.
I disagree. I think that well, I'm just saying, man, why would you want the commissioner of the league who has already been very, very stern about you don't touch this one guy? Why would you be the team that goes against that? You think Rob Manfred's going to make their life comfortable if they do that? There's no way.
What? What? So what can he do?
I
You
don't
go,
know.
if you're the Jays, you go, you're right, sorry, we shouldn't have signed him. You make a public statement, you go, sorry, we know there was this secret collusion to not sign. Oops, sorry, did I say that out loud? Like, what can he do? Like he can't, it is a big bluff. I get the idea that like he's blackballed and the commissioner wants nothing to do with him and all this stuff because of this the sticky stuff and but like he
Who knows
has
how
no
deep it
leverage to
runs,
be like,
Adam? You don't know,
what?
man. Like, who knows how deep it runs? You don't know what has been said. Like,
You think this goes all the way to Donald Trump and Elon Musk? You think this is what their feud is really about? Musk
they're
was like, the Yankees should sign Bauer, and
yeah,
Trump
that's
was
right.
like, no. Okay, we're
I don't know
fucking
if I'm even convinced Trevor Bauer's a good enough pitcher anymore, man. Like, so he dominated in the
for league
Mexican
minimum.
League.
There's no way he's worse than Bowden Francis.
Well, maybe.
For the Blue Jays pitching rotation that has Max Scherzer on the IL forever, and we're talking about Eric Lauer is our number five, and Bowden, nicknamed Yes Hitter Francis, is our number four.
I'm so not looking forward to the comments from all of this.
Cut it all out then. I don't care. I'm making the thumbnail Trevor Bauer, so
Yeah, I mean, pitching is a definite need here, dude. I
I
mean,
will say this Trevor Bauer hill is one I'm willing to die on. So come at me with your comments. That's fine. We'll see you on Tuesday.
I still don't think he's good enough. I don't know, man, but we'll see. I mean, there's no way anyone will like maybe 2 years ago, someone might have broken the blacklist, but now I don't know. It's he's done.
He's
Anyways,
be the youngest pitcher on our rotation. I can't say he's done. A guy that won a Cy Young and was the most dominant pitcher in baseball signed the biggest like AAV contract before Shohei Ohtani and those guys. He's not. This isn't a guy that was just like a one and done. Like he dominated in the league for years, won a Cy Young,
hmm
and then scandal befell him,
hmm
and yeah, he's been blackballed. But it's not like he was just a middling guy who deserves another chance. So that's fine.
I mean, I feel like we're arguing right now, but I'm not arguing you. I'm just saying that it's irrelevant. There's no way it can happen, right? Like, there's just no way it's happening.
You think Trevor Bauer never plays Major League Baseball again?
I know Trevor Bauer never plays Major League Baseball again.
Wow.
I would put money on it.
That's a damn shame if that's the case. And
I mean, it's already been the writing's on the wall. It's already been proven he's not playing again.
no, it hasn't. You can't say it's been proven. I mean, once he's retired, once he's 40, you could say there it definitively didn't play again.
all right, we'll return to this in 6 years, bud.
Let's cut all of this out. You've got to go. You had a hard out at the 45-minute mark. We're at
I do.
46.
I do. We're
So
already over time. All right. The Blue Jays and the Twins today through Sunday, best team in the AL behind the Tigers. So this is a team that is going to test the Blue Jays mettle, if you will.
we are fortunate to be skipping a Pablo Lopez start. He would have
Yep,
pitched game 3 against Bowden Francis, but he's on the 15-day IL. So that's a break in our favor. It's a
very much so. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Tuesday for Mailbag. Cheers.